As Chinese have more and more money to spend, the fast food industry here is seeing a boom. With me today is consulting firm Access Asia's founder, Paul French, who also recently published a book called Fat China about how food is changing the nation. Paul, thanks for joining us today. You've been in this for over a decade now. What's the success formula in the fast food chain industry?
The success is quite simple. Bring in your concept in terms of high hygiene levels and the regular menu you have, and then slowly start to adapt it to Chinese tastes, localize it, adapt to Chinese flavors and what the customer likes. And that way it's been a very successful industry. So just for Western fast food now, what we would call Western fast food, we're talking about $60 billion industry in China now.
So if fast food chains need to localize, does that mean dumplings, noodles have an edge over things like fried chicken, pizza, hamburgers, hot dogs?
Well, not necessarily, because remember, there's a lot of food like fried chicken, which is arguably just as Chinese as it is Western. The point is to localize, and fast food companies are used to doing this. They've done it all over the world. They're doing it in China, making things more spicy, for instance. But they do it in Japan. They also do it in Europe. Mayonnaise with French fries rather than tomato ketchup in America. So it's nothing new in that sense.
The multinational brands here, like McDonald's, KFC, we have them here, they've been dominating the market. Will they be able to continue their lead?
It's going to get a lot harder. They had first mover advantage. They were in early. Now there's a lot of other foreign companies in here. Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme has just opened, Burger King. There's also the Taiwanese, the Japanese are coming into the market, and also the Chinese are a quick study. So chains that maybe weren't so good a few years ago have now copied a lot of the sort of plastic menu boards, the service culture, the uniforms. They've copied the best from the Western brands, and they're doing Chinese food. So they're going to be really strong contenders in the next few years.
And in this battle, which are the Chinese companies we should look out for? Who's the emerging winner?
Well, there's any number of Chinese companies that are getting really big now. Here in Eastern China, there's a company called Zhongfu, Kung Fu in English. They have Bruce Lee as their logo. They're selling good, basic Chinese everyday dishes, very competitive pricing, based at subway stations, light rail stations. They're probably going to IPO in Hong Kong next year. They already have a couple of hundred branches. So these guys are already getting stronger. What they're not at the moment is we don't have one big national chain in the way that McDonald's or KFC are national chains. But that will come, and it's in China things move fast. Give it a couple of years and we'll be there.
In terms of challenges, how much is labor a challenge in this industry?
Well, labor's not that much of an issue. There's a lot of people that need jobs. It's an alternative to factory work for a lot of people. Of course, they're employing older people who are often being retired or laid off from state-owned enterprises and want a job. A management job at KFC or McDonald's is a good graduate position. So it's a good industry to work in. It's an exciting kind of modern industry. People like working in it.
What's the overall industry growth?
Well, it's double digit. It's up around the early 20s in terms of percentage growth year on year. Of course, it's subject to food prices. So if we get a bit of food inflation in China, that erodes margins a little bit. But basically, the Chinese are eating out more often. They're spending more on eating out. It's a bull market.
And lastly, what kind of future trends are you expecting to see?
Well, I think the trend that we're starting to see at the moment is family dining. So sort of restaurants where you can go with the kids, mum and dad, and grandma and grandpa, where they can all go. And that means, good traditional Chinese food served at affordable prices that allows you to go out and budget for the evening. And a sort of Chinese version of TGI Fridays or Applebee's or something like that. And we've already seen one company, Chinese Country Cooking in Chongqing, list on the markets. There's others all dotted around the country, and this is becoming a really big growth area for catering at the moment.